Yaz, and today I'm thrilled to show you the second version of my alien lady painting. This time I used my dominant hand. I first created this piece as part of a fun art challenge where the prompt was soup, space, and mushroom. In this video you'll get an inside look at how I tackled new techniques, played with bold colors, and refined the details, all while comparing it to the first version I painted with my non-dominant hand. Stick around because by the end you'll get some creative ideas to help you push your own artistic boundaries, like experimenting with colors, styles, or even trying out a challenge of your own. Now let's jump into this time lapse and see how it all came together. This painting was inspired by a 1950s Campbell soup ad, and I had so much fun creating it. For this piece, I challenged myself to recreate a painting I had originally done with my non-dominant hand as part of an art challenge. Art challenges like this are such a great way to push yourself creatively. Whether it's using a different hand, experimenting with new styles, or playing with colors you don't normally use, challenges help you break out of your routine and discover something new. To start off, outlining the drawing was a crucial step in preserving the details and structure of my painting. For this, I used an ultra-fine tip paint pen from my favorite brand, Painters. You can find these at Walmart. I prefer Painters over the popular Posca brand because I find that the glide is a lot smoother with Painters. It doesn't get caught up in the grooves of the canvas as much as Posca pens do for me, but maybe I'm just not using them right. When a paint pen gets caught up, it can cause the paint to splatter everywhere, which is definitely not what you want in a detailed piece like this. That's why I rely on Painters for a more controlled and precise outlining. I spent a good amount of time on this part, but taking the time to get the outline just right sets a solid foundation for the rest of the painting. If you look closely, you can see how the outline helps define the shapes and ensures that every detail of the alien's face and the can of soup remains clear as I add more layers. One challenge I faced was making sure the lines were consistent and clean. If you're working on a piece with complex details, it's easy to get a bit off track. My tip is to use a steady hand and take your time. If you make a mistake, don't worry.
Don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
You can always go back and correct it. Outlining is like creating a framework for your artwork. It's important because it helps keep everything in place as you build up your painting. By doing this step thoroughly, you ensure that your final piece will have a well-defined and cohesive look.
A few moments later.
Now I'm working on the eyes. Initially, I planned to add stars and a moon, but halfway through I decided to paint the entire eye black. This is a great example of how sometimes you have to trust your creative instincts and allow the design to evolve as you work. Experimenting with your designs like I did here is a fantastic way to push your creativity. Making bold decisions such as changing the design midway can lead to unexpected and satisfying results. Don't be afraid to adjust your plans as you go. It's all part of the creative process. Next, I started painting the neon pink lips. This step was surprisingly satisfying. Painting the lips with this bright, vibrant color really brings the character to life. Sometimes adding a pop of color can be the most rewarding part of the painting process. Don't ever underestimate the power of color in your art. Finding the right shades and applying them with care can elevate your piece and make it more engaging for the viewer. Don't be afraid to try bold colors or something that's outside of your usual palette. You might surprise yourself. Now I'm adding the second layer of paint to the cans. I used a color-changing aqua paint for this, which is one of my favorite colors for achieving a space-like galaxy effect. This color shifts beautifully and adds a dynamic element to the painting. When you're using color-changing or iridescent paints, taking the time for multiple layers can really make a difference. It's a great way to add depth and dimension to your artwork. Remember, patience with these details often results in a more striking and unique final piece. Next, I'm starting to paint the background neon yellow. This bright, vibrant color sets a dynamic background for the entire piece, adding a bold contrast to the other elements. Applying a strong base color like this is essential for making other details pop and creating a cohesive look. Now I'm experimenting with a drawing app called Line Brush Life. It's free and one of my go-to tools for testing out ideas and designs before I paint. This app has been invaluable for my creative process. In this first shot, I'm trying out a horizontal black squiggly pattern with 2 dots between each line on the top part of the background. I took a screenshot of this design to compare it with other options later. Next, I erased that design and experimented with a black wavy line for the bottom portion of the background. I also screenshotted this one before moving on. Then I decided to try a white starry background for the top part, thinking a space scene could work well. Next, I played around with adding a white wavy line for the bottom. This experimentation is such a fun way to visualize different options and really helps clarify my thoughts before committing to paint. Now I'm using the stippling technique to add small white stars to the cans. I had already splattered some white paint on them, but I wanted to enhance that space galaxy effect by adding more star spots in various sizes. This technique allows me to create a sense of depth and detail, making the cans feel even more integrated into the cosmic theme. It's all about layering and fine-tuning the details to achieve the look I envision. I ended up going with this wavy design for the background after testing a few different looks. This design adds a playful flowing element to the piece and creates a nice contrast with the other shapes. The beauty of art challenges is that they give you the freedom to try things you wouldn't normally attempt. For me, it's about breaking away from my usual style and pushing the boundaries of what I'm comfortable with. Now I'll be adding dots between each line to enhance the visual interest. This detail helps to unify the elements in the painting and it adds a bit of texture. Remember, experimenting with different designs and textures can lead to unexpected and delightful results. Next, I'm adding a black outline to the mushrooms on the can. Outlining is such an important step as it helps define the shapes and brings clarity to the details. Remember, don't underestimate the power of outlines in your artwork. They can elevate your piece and make it feel more cohesive. It was so much fun to paint this version with my dominant hand and really focus on the details. I encourage all of you to challenge yourselves with your art. Try different colors, different subjects, or even paint with your non-dominant hand like I did in the first version of this piece. Pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone is how you grow as an artist. So here are both versions side by side. Let me know in the comments which one you like best and if you've tackled any fun art challenges yourself lately. For more artistic inspiration, click this playlist right here, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and happy painting. Bye friends!